राम राम
जय
हरे
श्री
हरे।
कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गौधा
हरे
शिवस्ति गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गौधा शिवस्ति गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गौधा शिवस्ति गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण।
Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today is Friday. It is 4th of July. It is Vamana Masara Ashada Masa, Sukla Paksham, and Navami Tithi. There are no Vaishnavas today. So, but we are coming nearer to Ekadasi. Ekadasi is on Sunday. Say Ekadasi, fasting from grains, beans, and cereals. Okay, so for now we shall move to the Srimad Bhagavatam. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। हरे कृष्ण। In the Srimad Bhagavatam, so Uddhava speaking to Vidura, so about the conversations between Uddhava and Krishna. So he was mentioning that Pura Maya Prokta Majayanabhe Padme Nishinnahe Mamadi Sarghe Jnanam Param Yan Mahima Avbhasam Yat Surayo Bhagavatam Vadanti. And my personal pastimes, when Krishna says to Uddhava, my personal pastimes, it is described by the great scholars and learned sages as Bhagavatam. And this is transcendent knowledge, Jnanam Param. And this knowledge was given to Brahma. Pura Maya Proktam Ajayanabhe. Brahma has emanated from the lotus flower, and that lotus flower came from the Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu's novel. So that is called Srimad Bhagavatam. And now, what is the importance of the Srimad Bhagavatam? Now, why Krishna has said to Uddhava? So that is Bhagavatam. And later on, as soon as Krishna started speaking like that, uh, I mean, he spoke to Buddha, and now Buddha is now he's saying that as soon as the Lord spoke to me with so much of love and affection, every moment with love and affection, he was mentioning every moment during that conversations, and then immediately my body, the hair stand on my body, and my words are faltering, and then tears are flowing through my eyes. Just I was uh, wiping my tears and started speaking to the Lord. In such a way, Buddha was saying to Vidura, the between how those ecstatic feelings between Uddhava and Krishna. Okay, so we are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, part Canto, chapter 4, and verse number 14. इत्यादृतोक्तः परमस्य पुंसः प्रतीक्षणानुग्रहाभाजनोऽहम् स्नेहोत्तरो मा स्खलिताक्षरस्थम् मुञ्चन् शुचः प्राञ्जलिराभभाषे इति आधृतोक्तः परमस्य पुंसः इति आधृतोक्तः परमस्य पुंसः. So in such a way, iti in thus adhrita muktah, when Lord has addressed adhritoktah paramasya pumsah. So being favored, the Lord is favoring to Buddhavati every moment, and then addressed paramasya pumsah of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Paramasya pumsah pratikshana anugraha bhajanoham. Pratikshana anugraha, every moment anugraha bhajanaha, object of favor. Aham and myself. So Lord is favoring to Uddhavat every moment with anugraha, bhajanaha, object of favor. And then during that time, aham, myself, sneha Snehottaroma, by the affection, sneha. Uttama is the eruption, Roma, hairs on the body. So, on the body of Uddhava, the hairs are standing on the end. Snehottama Roma, Skalita Aksharastam, Skalita and slackened Aksharastam, and eyes. Sneha Aksharastam, and so what? So this one, so this will be whenever he's saying to that verse, Abhavasi at the last. So Aksharastam, in the Aksharastam, what happened? Munchan, Suchaha. So his eyes are filled with tears, and he was smearing those tears. Suchaha, Pranjalihi, and with folded hands, and then Abhavasi, and then he said with Kalita, slackened words, the faltering words, the Uddhava started speaking to the Lord. इति आदृतोक्तः परमस्य पुंसः प्रतिक्षण अनुग्रह भाजनोऽहम् स्नेहोत्तरो स्खलिताक्षरस्थं मुञ्चन् शुचः प्राञ्जलिराभवाशे मुञ्चन् शुचः प्राञ्जलिराभवाशे. So translation for this shloka. Uddhava said, O Vidura, when I was thus favored at every moment by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and addressed by him with great affection, my words failed in tears, and the hairs on my body erupted. After smearing my tears, I, with folded hands, spoke like this. So there is no purport for this shloka. So here, so Buddhava, this is the symptoms of Buddhava. As soon as the Lord is favoring at every moment to the devotee, and the devotee, after remembering throughout all his pastimes, how he has crossed all the time throughout his life, and what is there left at the end of our life? So we have gone through childhood, youthhood, and then just adulthood, and then married life, and then all these things. Later on, body is getting older, and then what else we have? But still, Lord is affectionate throughout the life to the devotee. So during that time, every moment, pratikshana anugraha bhajanoham. So these are the things. So in a gratitude mode, and then he is offering. This is Tam Krishna Pada Vinivishta Chetasam Baddhanjalim Prashaya Namrakandharam. Baddhanjalim Prashaya Namrakandharam. With so much of love and affection, always remembering Krishna's lotus feet. One would see this one, Ananda Bhashpakalaya Muhurjamanaha. That tears with so much of happiness, they will come out from the eyes. And then Aviklebhagya Hrudayaha Pulakachitango. This is Viklijyamana Hrudayaha Pulakachitango. And then heart, it is again, the love is floating from the heart. Pulakachitango. And body, it is always, there are so many symptoms comes from the body. Sometimes trembling, and tears are coming from the eyes, and also the hair standing on the body, and faltering voice. And then whenever Baddena Anjalina Natena Sirasa Gatrihi Sarama Buddhamaihi Kantena Swaragadhadena Nainena Uddhi Bhashpampuna Nityam Tvacharanaravindavigala Dhyanamrita Swadinam Asmakam Sarasi Ruhapcha Satatam Sampadyatam Jeevitam. So in such a way, when one is always having all these kind of symptoms, Kantena Swaragadhadena Nainena Uddhina Bhashpampuna Outkancha Bhashpakalaya Muhurjhamanaha Jalandan Udghad Bhashpam Outkancha Devaki Sute. So crying for Krishna. Every moment by so many people are crying for Krishna. Why so? And why Kunti Maharani was asking, Vipada Santuhtaha Shashvat Tatra Tatra Jagadguru Bhavato Darshanam Yatyat Apunar Bhava Darshanam. Why she was asking so many difficulties in her life again and again, so that she can remember as soon as the senses are gratified a little bit, And then, yes, I am fine. Now I am relaxed. Now there is no that kind of temperament towards Krishna. When we are in the troubles and when we are in the problems and remembering Krishna, there is so much of love and affection goes. If the senses are little bit gratified, we lose the temperament of devotion. That's why Bhogeshwari Prasittanam Tayapurta Chetasam Vyavasayatmak Buddhi Samadhu Navidhiyate. That kind of devotion does not sprout whoever is trying to gratify their senses. That's why Kunti Maharani was asking, Vipada Santu Hataha Shashwat Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru. Give me all tables so that we will remember you in those tables. Bhavato Darshanam Yatsat Apunar Bhava Darshanam. And one who tastes that love of Krishna, then they will realize, okay, there is nothing more than this. That's why all our acharyas, they will always engage in the ascetics and penance. They do not try to take any of kinds of comforts, bodily comforts. But nowadays, if we see the people, sometimes they will come and they will take all kinds of facilities, comforts to the body. And then when we are trying to give comforts to the body, we will lose that temperament of devotion, that love. But it may appear so outside, but in the heart, there is not much love sprouting towards Krishna. Outside, we may feel that, yes, it is good and all those things, but it is actually goes within the heart. Every moment, a devotee experiences those pleasures when he is in actually not gratifying the senses and always in the devotional service. It doesn't matter how many problems we have got in our life. So he would experience that highest happiness. So likewise, here Buddhava, is Sneha Uttaromas Kalita Aksharastam Munchan Suchaha Pranjali Abhavashe. He is exhibiting those symptoms and he is speaking to Krishna, saying that what he is going to say, that is very, very the elevated words that I do not want anything, my dear Lord, except your devotional service. What is the use of everything else when we have got? So sometimes we may ask, Father, I want this, Father, I want that, Father, I want this. My dear husband, I want this, I want to go there, I want to see that one, I want to buy this one. Likewise, they will put so many demands, but no one say, I love you so much. For no cause, I love you. You do so many things, but I love you so much. You are already doing it. I don't want anything. I want only yourself. How many people would say like that to the husband or father? So this is called gratitude and a devotion. That's why generally we call one has to bharamiti anumanyeta gauraven gururvachaha. One has to show with so much of respect towards the father and gurus and then follow their instructions. And also a woman will be just vishrambhen atmasochena vacha madhuryacha bhoho. Likewise, be so much pleasing to the husband. She has to act, day to day life with gratitude and love and affection. As soon as that love and affection pours onto the father or the spiritual master, onto the father, what happens? They will give themselves unto you. And then that is where the loving relations goes. That is where real life starts to live. Otherwise, just only the material things. I want that one. I want this one. I don't like it. This is one. This is all nonsensical things. Then you would see a little bit of that experience, and then you will lose that love between the two living entities. So here that Krishna and Buddhava, all the time, love would happen only between the living entities only, not between the material objects, not the Prakriti, only the living entities, life. That is the real life, not with any other things. If you have got all kinds of very good house, good comforts and everything, but there are no one to share your love, what is the use? Zero. And you have got people around you with so much of love and affection, and you don't have anything other appliances, just only a bare necessity, then you would feel so much of happiness in your life. That was the tradition in India. People, they did not have much wealth and prosperities, but they were very happy. In Vrindavan, people are like that. So here, Buddha is like that, and then further he would say, but this verse is we would cover that one in the next day. But just to giving a synopsis, just a translation. O my Lord, devotees who engage in the transcendent loving service of your lotus feet have no difficulty in achieving anything within the realm of the four principles of religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. But, O great one, as far as I am concerned, I have preferred only to engage in the loving service of your lotus feet. So in such a way, Uddhava is asking, started speaking to Krishna here. So this is from Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is the devotion is the highest perfection of human life, gratitude and love. And then that's why you would see all the living entities, they're situated in the Lord. Lord is in your heart, and you yourself would reflect in each and every living entity again. Okay, so likewise, Uddhava is reflecting everything. That's why Krishna says, Natatami Priyatama Atma Yonihi Nasankaraha Nachasankashuru Nashrihi Na Evatma Cheta Bhavan. O Uddhava, that is the reason I like you the most than anyone else in this universe. Than Lord Shiva, than Lord Brahma, than Lord Sankarsana, than Goddess of Fortune, than myself as well. So likewise, Krishna appreciates Uddhava. So now Uddhava is in that mood. He started speaking. इति आदृतोक्तः परमस्य पुंसः प्रतिक्षण अनुग्रह भाजनोऽहम् स्नेहोत्तरो मास्लिताक्षरस्थं मुञ्चिन् शुचिः प्राञ्जलिराभभाषे. That is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Yeah, we shall move to Srila Prabhupada's daily letter. Okay, so today letter to Ishana Vibhavati, September 21st, 1970, Calcutta. Can I request Saranya Mataji to read this letter, please?
Hare Krishna. My dear Ishana and Vibhavati, please accept my blessings. Lately, there has been some misunderstanding among our devotees about our Krishna consciousness philosophy. Particularly, there has been some confusion about the relationship between the spiritual master and Krishna. The Vedas say that there is a master Krishna. This servant Krishna is the spiritual master. This servant Krishna is the spiritual master, and this is the conclusion. The spiritual master is the mercy representative of the Supreme Lord, and as such, he is given honor as good as Krishna. But he is never identical with Krishna. Perhaps you know the pictures of Madhvacharya, one of the great acharyas in our line, who is holding two fingers up to indicate Krishna and Jiva. The impersonalists hold up one finger because their idea is that everything is one. So, if we make the spiritual master identical with the Krishna, then we will also become impersonalist. If we say that our spiritual master is Krishna, then the conclusion is that if we become spiritual master someday, then we will also become Krishna. Please try to understand how dangerous this kind of reasoning is. In my books, I have tried to explain clearly this simultaneously one and different philosophy, Ajinda Beda Abeda Tattva, propounded by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But sometimes it happens that this philosophy is given a self interested interpretation. As soon as personal motivation come in, it is not possible for one to understand our Krishna consciousness philosophy. You have both been very nice devotees, and I would like you both to continue to make nice advancement. So please patch up any crack that may have been come between yourself and the ISKCON. As husband and wife, you must always remain together and raise your daughter in Krishna consciousness. I would like you to go back to New Vrindavana and fix up a nice living place yourself and help to develop the New Vrindavana scheme. Our ISKCON should be taken as being a family based upon love and trust. So as the fathers become unhappy when one of his child wishes to break family connections, I also become unhappy when there is difficulties within our ISKCON family. So please do not consider leaving as you are spiritual children of mine. While writing this letter, dated September 12, 1970, I do not think at this time you should come to India. Your both service is required in New Vrindavana. Please chant your round sincerely and read carefully all the books and dedicate your life equally to Krishna and your spiritual master. This will make you happy. Hope you are both well and your daughter Vrajadevi also. Your ever well wisher A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Any points, Mataji, you wanted to explain to us?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. So in this letter, Prabhupada was mentioning an important point, like one point every devotee should remember, like when we progress in the spiritual path, at a moment we may think like spiritual master is identical to Krishna, because in our custom the Vyasa Puja offering or whatever the high position that we offer to the spiritual master, sometimes maybe neophyte devotee or sometime on the go, we may think spiritual master is identical to Krishna. So that is a very dangerous thinking, that is very dangerous understanding or belief, that is like Prabhupada is warning them, because spiritual master is never identical to Krishna. Krishna is Krishna. Krishna is supreme master, supreme spiritual master, and the supreme personality of Godhead. But the person who gives the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna, is spiritual master. The one who connects us to the Krishna is spiritual master. So that distinction has to be understood. Otherwise, as Prabhupada was saying, like down the line, people will think like in ISKCON or in any spiritual organization, uh, uh, for the propagating purpose, the any person who is qualified can become a spiritual master. Any person who know Krishna, who follow the rules and regulations, can become a spiritual master. So it never mean that they will become Krishna. So that is a different very dangerous reasoning that is Prabhupada was explaining. So the differentiation has to be understood clearly, that spiritual master is not identical to Krishna, but spiritual master can give Krishna, because the spiritual master has a close connection to Krishna. And if spiritual master is happy and recommend a particular person, Krishna can accept that person to the abode. So that thing Prabhupada was saying, and maybe some confusions or some argument going on between the devotees, so they might decided or they might wanted to leave ISKCON. So Prabhupada was saying like, when a father is unhappy when a child go away from the family, like similarly you all are my spiritual children, so don't when you are arguing or when you are not happy within the organization, or you have a intent to go back, then that makes me very sad. So leave there and patch up any misunderstanding that caused this decision, like that Prabhupada was saying. And that shows Prabhupada's like compassion or love towards the devotees or the disciples or the members of ISKCON. So yes, Prabhu, the main point Prabhupada was saying this in this was the difference between, or the distinction between spiritual master and Krishna. So because one way it can affect is like when other people also see like we are worshiping the spiritual master more than Krishna, they will also think like we are doing some like the human god now. It's a thing. So they think like they are worshiping human beings, but the difference, the basic philosophy has to be clear. And when so that when someone asks also, we can explain like we are not worshipping a particular human, who is that and why we are worshipping like that. So that is the point, Prabhu, I understood. Yeah, and Prabhupada was explaining the Ajinda Beta Beta Tattva, simultaneously one and different. That is the basic philosophy Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given. It is one, but at the same time it is different. So yes, Prabhu. That's all, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Welcome sharing this letter and the points. Any other points, dear devotees, you wanted to add to this letter? Okay, so Prabhupada in this letter, he is mentioning about the Madhvacharya. So in the pictures of Madhvacharya, we see sometimes Madhvacharya's appearance day and disappearance day. If we just observe, he has lifted his hand and showing two fingers, holding up, holding two fingers up to indicate Krishna and Jiva, Supreme Lord and Jiva, two entities. So here Prabhupada is giving analogy like if I am just if I am if spiritual master is treated as Krishna, and if you think that you are Krishna, on one day if all the disciples and they will also think that on one day I will also become a spiritual master, I will also become Krishna. That is a dangerous philosophy. I also Krishna, you also Krishna, everyone are Krishna except Krishna. So here that becomes again it impersonalism. It leads to the Mayavada philosophy. So here, how Madhvacharya is showing two fingers, always Krishna and Jiva are eternal. Impersonalists hold up only one finger because their idea is that everything is Brahma. So they just you Brahma, me Brahma, everything is Brahma. So of course everything is Brahma, but beyond that there is a distinction. Everyone is a individual flavors, individual living entity. And then Krishna, Nityo Nityanam Chetana Chetananam. All are Brahma, but Krishna is Param Brahma. That one, that is the difference. Beyond that, that is Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattvam. Okay, so otherwise, if we make that one, it will become impersonalism. If we make the spiritual master identical with Krishna, then it will become impersonalism. So that's why Prabhupada is mentioning that. And one, if it goes on like that, how dangerous this kind of reasoning is. So it is just Prabhupada is describing to Ishananda Vibhavati. And Prabhupada described this one in all the books. It is the same thing, just condemning the impersonalism and establishing the two living entities. And when there is two living entities, then only devotional service comes. Otherwise, there is a servant, there is a master, then there is a, as long as master and servant are there, service takes place. Otherwise, devotional service does not take place. That's why so many people, they give up their activities and then renounce. But Krishna condemns that one, not simply changing the desert, stopping that one, it becomes the renounced order. Krishna says that one has to detach from the objects of sensual objects, sense, sense objects. That is the real renunciation. But one has to do yajna, dana, tapaha, karma. One has to still carry on. It will still purify the purified. Okay, so otherwise it would enter into Mayavada philosophy. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is extracted from Madhvacharya philosophies and Shankaracharya and all other traditions. And then he described this one, expounded, so propounded this Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. Bheda Abheda Tattva. Okay, so but if there is any personal motivation comes in it, it is not possible for one to understand our Krishna consciousness philosophy. So that is the main thing. So as soon as our personal opinions just injecting into that one opinion, immediately he lose the taste. Simply he needs to flow. He should not put himself as an obstacle to understand Krishna consciousness. Okay, that is one point, and Prabhupada appreciating Ishananda Vibhavati, that you are progressing, remain together and raise your daughter together in Krishna consciousness, and then go back to New Vrindavan and fix up nice living place for yourself and help to develop the New Vrindavana scheme. Okay, so but everything based on upon love and trust. So these are the things. It is not that we work and then do something and get some kind of remuneration. That of course Krishna will take care of those things. Either way, it will come. But here one has to do apratihata, ahituki apratihata ye atma suprasidati, and with the love and trust. So and Prabhupada is mentioning, you are like my children. So as the father becomes unhappy when one of his children wishes to break family connection, then I also become unhappy when there is a difficulties within our ISKCON family. Please do not consider living as your spiritual children of mine. So Prabhupada, this is the connection between spiritual master and disciples. So it should not happen, even it is the sanghas are going on. If the sangha is going on because of some kind of misconceptions, you are great, I am great, you did that one, you should not speak like that, I should not speak like that, I never did mistake. This kind of misunderstandings comes, unnecessarily break the relations, even within the small sanghas. So here Prabhupada is describing in the world of ISKCON society and also addressing this Matajis and Prabhuji here. It is not only there, it happens everywhere. As long as love and trust. Devotees, they never make mistakes purposefully, but only sometimes uh, they will they will crap this, okay, they have done like this. Even though it is not purposefully they have done it, but as a matter of doing it, they have got some higher purpose, but other people may have thought in other reflections. And then that is how these misunderstandings creep up, and then it will destroy the relations. When the offenses are going on, relations are not going, one the devotees may stop and they do not come. But not coming, it is not the right thing. That is going, one small mistake leads to bigger mistakes and gradually losing the taste. Oh, everyone are like that. Oh, I have seen all. They would see only the faults everywhere later on. If we simply adjust initially in the beginning things that devotees they never make any mistakes purposefully towards anyone, then there is a right purpose. In due course of time, you would hear the right cause from the same personality whom you have thought, okay, they have done some thing which is not right. You would hear the right cause, then it will be adjusted. But if you do not have patience, immediately breaking the relationships. So Prabhupada is asking them, do not consider living as your spiritual children of mine. Because in due course of time, they will understand the real philosophy and the relations. Okay, so until then, chant your round sincerely and read carefully all the books dedicated your life equally to Krishna and your spiritual master. This will make you happy. Okay, so likewise, Prabhupada is asking their well-being and their spiritual life as well. Okay, so that is from Srila Prabhupada's letter and what I feel from these reflections. Okay, any other comments, dear devotees, you wanted to add here? And I also request personally, dear devotees, if there is something like that, misconceptions, we have seen like that before. But if there is there, you just personally take voluntarily and just mingle with your God brothers, God sisters, or Sangha sisters, Sangha brothers like that. And the devotees who are looking faces each other with love and affection. No one does any mistakes. There is a higher cause if for their act or behavior like that. If we simply hear their cause, things will be sorted out. Okay, so that is my reflections. Any other comments, dear devotees?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, on this based on this letter, where Prabhupada, till he was there on this planet, he tried so hard to, he got them married personally, like deciding who is good for whom. But if you read after about these disciples, his disciples' life after he left, most of them broke up. So it's only few, like Gurudas Prabhu, Shyam Sundar Prabhu, and I think a few others. They stuck to very few. Like of the 5,000 devotees he got, disciples he had, and the ones he got married, most of them got separated. Like some, yeah, of course, they took sannyas and then fell off, and those things happened. So even like what he had wanted for the society to grow, like as grihasthas have family and expand, and that was a big reason. Of course, there was fall downs as sannyasi and other things, but the fall down also came because couples broke. They Prabhupada got them married thinking that they are good for each other, but it not continue that way. So, and that was the reason for in the 80s and till the 90s when the movement had taken a dip. And of course, and still in the West, it's not like, of course, it has flourished, but the white devotees are so less. I mean, wherever it has flourished, the Indians have taken it up and then they are taking the movement forward, whether it's in West or East, it's mostly Indian devotees. I mean, what Prabhupada wanted, maybe it was meant to be like that. It was just, they were there for as Parshad, as his pastime, part of his Leela. But when he left, I mean, most of the relationship broke as well. So yeah, just a thought. I'm not commenting, just like information like that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Say good points you have mentioned. Yes, so there is for everything there is a right cause. Thank you so much, Mataji. Any other comments, dear devotee? So that's why whenever we are leading something, one has to follow rules and purpose. And the other day, who are leading GBC, they must be ideal characters, not making any mistakes. And also, especially who are initiating the disciples, no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling, and follow regulatory this chanting 16 rounds every day properly. Again, once we do devotional service for 50 years and at the age of 84, something like that, if we just again fall into that material things, love, relationships after taking sannyasa, then it is a fall down. In the past times, we have seen Prabhupada has number of times stressed it like Vishwamitra. And then Vishwamitra came in contact with Menaka after so much of austerities and penances. And then Indra, he also, when Gautama Rishi, when he was performing the austerities and his wife Ahalya, and then immediately in order to just ruin his austerities, Indra came and disguised and met with Ahalya. Ahalya also had got a little bit of those things, and then later on Gautama Rishi, he cursed Indra and then also Ahalya. So here, demigods sometimes come and try to ruin. When Dhruva Maharaj was mentioning after Lord has appeared to Dhruva Maharaj and says everything, and then Lord left, and Dhruva Maharaj was lefting. I was deviated by the demigods by jealousness, thinking that I may be so exceeding them, something like that. So they have ruined my mind. So I was asking some kind of material thing. We should not be attracted. We may be having it, but that is not the ultimate thing. But we have to follow the orders of the ashrama. Sannyasa ashrama means sannyasa ashrama, not coming down. That is the falling down. Of course, it may be for other people it appears so, but for him it's a different reflections. But in our society, we have to, if you are in the Grihastha ashrama, we follow the ashrama properly and then enter into the Vanaprastha. And Vanaprastha is where we are trying to renounce from the materialistic activities. And if it is not possible, we can just still come back to the family again, because not to lose that moment and then again just go back. Just we are trying to elevate ourselves spiritually within that moment. That is all right, that is acceptable. That is vanaprastha is the transcendent transcend transferring to the further level. So their adjustments can take place in the Vanaprastha. And then sannyasa means completely no more materialistic things. Devotees are not called back into the materialistic activities. And the other Prabhupada purport was shared in the WhatsApp group. Okay, so this is only progress. We do not come down again back. Okay, that is the devotion. Increasing the time in the spiritual activities. Okay, so these are the reflections. Thank you so much, Mataji. That is from Srila Prabhupada's letter. And from the announcements point of view, so tomorrow morning, again, we continue our Bhagavatam, and tomorrow evening, Bhagavad Gita session by our Gaur Sangha devotees. I have requested devotees to speak on Bhagavad Gita. So as soon as I hear, the message will be shared in the group. Okay, so the speakers are allocated for this Saturday. So I have sent some messages. Devotees, if you have received message, kindly respond. Okay, thank you so much. And devotees, if you have got any other updates or you wanted to share anything, kindly share. Okay, if there are no updates, then we shall conclude and continue with further japa. वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण कॉन्शियस डे एवरीवन। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु